Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I made a video or posted anything, but I have been ridiculously busy with this time of uni and I pretty much just haven't had the chance to do anything outside of my uni work, so I do apologise, it's been a while. To be honest, for this video, rather than using some of the other videos I had kind of on standby, I wanted to kind of do something a bit different, and something that combines both my personal life and my professional life, I guess. As you guys may know, I'm a student at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. I'm studying stage management, and I really just love the theatre. And where this is going to lead is I'm going to talk about Fun Home, the musical that's currently on in the Young Vic Theatre. It's based on the true life story of a lesbian cartoonist called Alison Bechdel. And I saw it recently and I'm off to see it again soon, and then again and again. I booked a lot of tickets basically because I got very excited once I realised it was coming to London. So I wanted to kind of make a video that combines both my professional interests and my personal life. So the general premise of Fun Home, for anyone who doesn't know it, I highly recommend you go listen to the soundtrack. It is absolutely brilliant. The cartoon itself, like the cartoon novel itself, is also brilliant. I just finished rereading it before I made this video. It's kind of what inspired me to make the video, I guess. So I recently went with one of my friends to go see the performance, and it was absolutely astounding. It was honestly really incredible, so I highly recommend, if you guys can get tickets, to go see it. The reason why I kind of wanted to talk about it is because when listening to the musical the first couple of times, I found myself resonating very strongly with the character of Alison Bechdel. The whole questioning and not understanding and wondering whether people around you kind of understood your story. I don't know, there's just a couple of songs in the musical that always remind me of me when I was growing up, I guess. One of the particular songs is Ring of Keys. So this is a song sung by young Alison. So if anyone doesn't know, there are 3 different Alisons. There's adult Alison, kind of college teen Alison, and young Alison, and it kind of follows the story of Alison Bechdel through all of these different characters and her life at different stages. And the song Ring of Keys is sung by the youngest Alison, and it's kind of like the first time when she really acknowledges that she potentially is a very butch individual. And it's based on a woman walking into a coffee shop carrying. She's like a delivery woman and she's strong, and she looks very butch. And it really reminded me of one of my first experiences when I first started to kind of question my sexuality, especially when I was younger. I don't think at the time I really noticed what it was, but I definitely was like, oh, okay, why am I intrigued by you but not by everyone else? It was a very similar situation. We were on holiday in France, actually, and there was this very butch-looking woman, and there was just something about her that, like, really caught my attention, and I didn't really get why I was so drawn to watching her and the way she kind of acted. She just had a kind of sort of je ne sais pas sort of attitude and was a bit like, you know what, if you want to mess with me, you mess with me. And she just was so strong and powerful and just marched down the street. And there was something about that. She had really short hair. She was dressed in this very masculine looking pair of trousers and a shirt, and it looked very fashionable but also very masculine, and there was something about it that I really, really liked, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And when I was sitting in the theatre with my friend, I was watching the scene play out and listening to the song and humming along because I was obsessed and I know all the words. And I sat there and I was suddenly reminded of this moment, and it's kind of partly why I wanted to make the video. I just realised how odd it is that there are so many small little moments that you have in your life that if you understood the fuller picture at that time, you probably would have pieced things together. And it's very odd to me to think every now and then I get reminded of these odd little moments, and they aren't clear to me. They're only clear to me when they kind of suddenly pop up and I go, oh yeah, that was a bit weird. And I think that was definitely also the case in terms of my gender identity. I used to be very uncomfortable in the way I dressed. And I used to just think it was because I was a bit podgy, I was a bit fat, and I thought that was the only reason why I felt uncomfortable in the clothes I was wearing, is because I didn't look good in them. But, you know, after experimenting, I realised it was actually because the clothes weren't my sort of clothes. I didn't feel right in a low-cut top, I didn't feel right in a dress, I didn't feel right in a jumpsuit. It wasn't because of my weight that I was uncomfortable, but it was because of how I was expressing myself. And it took me until I was about 18 to figure that out. And when I look back on it, as a kid I wore dungarees, I wore trousers, I, you know, was the sort of kid that played in the mud, you know, what we consider nowadays, what we still consider stereotypically masculine things. You know, being rough and tough is considered more masculine. I didn't enjoy ballet lessons, I didn't enjoy the kind of daintiness and the femininity of it, and I asked my mum to stop doing ballet because I wasn't enjoying it. And, you know, until you sit down and piece those things together, I guess you don't really notice all of those little things were there right from the offset, but you just don't pick up on them until you have a fuller understanding. And I think I find that very, very interesting. Especially when it comes to the whole debate of, are people born gay or do they choose to be gay? Now, I'm still firmly of the belief that we do not choose to make our lives more difficult for ourselves. We do not choose to be marginalised. Like, why would you choose that? It doesn't make sense. And I don't think it has anything. There are some people that argue sometimes it has something to do with your upbringing, it has things to do with the randomest of things, and I'm just like, no, actually, I am still of the firm belief that you are just born as you are born, and you may not pick up on all the little things, you may not pick up on all the little signs until you're 18, until you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't mean it hasn't been there the whole time. It's a case of it's only just become apparent because those little clogs have nicked together. And definitely for me, until all the cogs had kind of fallen in line, I didn't really think... I just realised my laptop screen has gone blue and I've got a now blue silhouetted face. Thank you, laptop. I didn't realise until all the cogs had kind of fallen together that that was what I was feeling, and that is how I identified, and that's why certain things made me more uncomfortable and certain things made me more comfortable. And I think it's a case of, you know, finding things in the media, especially nowadays, because we've got things like Instagram, the internet, Tumblr, Facebook, you know, just it's endless, pretty much. I think it's finding things in the media that accurately represent how you're feeling, and they make it a lot easier to piece it together. Because when I sat and watched the musical A Fun Home, I suddenly remembered different things in my life that reminded me of the fact that I had probably at an early age been curious about things that weren't conventionally things I should be curious about. I don't really know where that rambling sentence led. I don't know if it led anywhere. Please let me know if you think it didn't, and I will endeavour to speak properly in the future. But I think it's finding things in the media. I think at the moment there are some TV programmes that I hugely respect for their portrayal of the LGBT community, and one of them for definite is One Day at a Time. They've got a non-binary character, which is just really exciting for me. They've got Latina characters, they've got a lesbian, they've got a mother that struggles with depression. It is such a well-rounded and versatile show that covers a lot of big issues, but does it in a fun way. And I think having things like that in the media today definitely makes it a lot easier for people to kind of come to the realization of who they actually are, because it does take time and it's not a split-second thing. Like, there are some people that know from a ridiculously early age. There are some people that only figure it out at a much later stage in their lives, and like, I don't think anyone's experience is any less valid based on the age that they figure it all out, because there are some people out there who go, well, you only figured this out when you were like 30, so are you sure you're not just trying something new? Or, you know, you've had boyfriends before, so how can you suddenly be a lesbian? It's like, people who devalue older people's experiences and younger people's experiences, I'm like, yes, there are some people who are like, a 5-year-old can't know, and I'm like, well, why can't a 5-year-old know how they identify? A 5-year-old is completely compos mentis. They have a brain, they know how to use it, they're in school, they're being educated. What is so wrong about a 5-year-old turning around and saying, I think I might be gay? I just don't see the issue with it. And it's the same with like a 60-year-old suddenly going, hey, I think I might be gay. And you go, great, congrats. I'm sorry it's taken you such a long time to have to work this out and to deal with this by yourself, but congratulations and have a great rest of your 60s, I guess, is what you can say. I don't really know what you say to someone in their 60s who's just come out. But I think definitely nowadays people are always like, oh, but there's more people in the LGBT community, like, it's just a phase, there's so many more of you. And I'm like, actually, it's not a case of there's more of us, it's just more of us are willing to be open to have these conversations, because there are the platforms to do that, and because it's becoming less of a taboo, people are more okay with saying, oh, I think I'm gay, or oh, I'm bi, or I'm pan, or I'm poly, or I'm asexual, because there are so many different things and they've all existed this entire time. It's just no one's understood them or given a platform for them. That was a weird sentence that I wasn't able to speak. So yeah, I kind of just had all this realisation after I went to go see Fun Home one evening, and I just thought I'd bundle it up into a nice little video and leave it there for you guys to watch if you ever feel like this is the sort of thing that intrigues you. Don't really know why this is the sort of thing. I mean, it's just me rambling late at night. But yeah, if there's any other topics or shows or things that people have come across that they think are great in terms of representation of the LGBT community, I would love to hear about them. I'm always looking for things to kind of go look at and review and, you know, get a better understanding of. So if there's anything out there, I know people are probably going to suggest to me RuPaul's Drag Race. I hear you. I just don't feel you as strongly as some other people do. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will hopefully be putting up another video soon because I'm now on break, which means I have a lot more free time on my hands to do stuff like this. So fingers crossed I'll try and do one at least once every 2 weeks and get this ball rolling again. Anyway, thanks guys, bye!